What's up, everyone? Welcome back to NRL Fantasy Analysis. In this one, we're going to be going through the Round 5 team list. Bunch of big ins this week. Also, a good chance for a bunch of people that have traded a lot to actually hold steady and save a few trades. So, obviously, a couple of different options, and we'll go through those in this video. But to start us off, we're going to be going through the Bunnies and the Broncos. And not too much to talk about on the Bunny side, apart from the fact that Cody Walker is out for this week, being suspended. And Benji Marshall moved into 6, so not really fantasy relevant there. Our big one is for Colin owners. So he's been suspended as well, and Jacob Host comes in and takes that number 11 role. For people that were stressing about Cam Murray, he did have a head injury last week, so please don't stress, right? There's a good chance he's going to get back to that 70-ish minutes that he was playing before, especially with the bench they're looking at. They've got Dean Hawkins, Nichols will play smaller minutes along with Mago, and then Arrow with his normal minutes there. Host also might not play the full 80, so that's something to think about as well. But please don't rage trade Murray, as if you do, he's going to go well this week, and a lot of people are going to be targeting him over the next few weeks. So something to think about. On the Broncos side, Richie Kenner comes in for Farnworth. He's out for 1 week, and that's a bit of a shoulder issue, but he should be okay. Tessie News in there as well, and just be aware that he might have a little bit of a tough time against Dane Gagai, but Tessie is also scoring well with 30 as being his base. So try not to stress too much about that. Tom Dearden's in the 7 role again with Croft on the bench. So I think still really good for Turpin owners. Lodge had a little bit of an off game, so you could probably give him another week. But other than that, I'd suggest he's almost ready to be traded if you did keep him this far. Payne Haas, I think you can still wait a couple of weeks before bringing him in. He's gonna drop some more cash, and then you'll be able to pick him up then. Jordan Rickey's been great. You can have him as a starter in your squad. And then Tavita Pangai Jr. moves into the 13 role with Carrigan being out this week. So wasn't actually sure what happened to Carrigan. He was suspended as well. So he'll just be out for the week there, and hopefully a good score for any of the Tavita Pangai Jr. owners. So there you go, guys. That's that game. If you're enjoying these videos, please hit like, hit subscribe. I really appreciate that. All right, Warriors, Seagulls. On our Warriors side, small change. We've got Tohu Harris moving into the front row with Bunty R4 out after a good week. This brings Jack Murchie into the starting side, but again, it's only going to be a 1 to 2 week thing at most. Jazz Tavanga into the 13 role, so it hasn't really mattered. Tohu's been playing in the edge and then rotating into the middle. And with Tohu playing prop, what I'll say is he definitely plays this role anyway. He runs the ball a lot of meters like a prop would, and tackles hard. So that's going to be the same in the front row. And I doubt that his role changes. Tavanga runs the ball a fair bit too, so both of them can play that front rower, middle forward rotation. And I'd expect Tohu to play big minutes as per normal. So I wouldn't be stressing about Tohu in this case. Kane Evans comes onto the bench. Josh Curran moves into the 17 as well. But again, should be only a 1 to 2 week thing at most. We move to the Manly side. Jason Saab with a beautiful 0 last week keeps his spot. Tommy Trobb is still out for 1 more week. So wait for him to come back before bringing him in if you're thinking about Tommy Trobb. Morgan Harper in the number 4 jersey. Again, not going to be an option as he should only be there for the 1 week with Sully out. Cherry Evans, a bunch of people looking to trade him out. I think that's probably a silly move. He comes up against the Warriors, who weren't that great last week either, and I think he'll have a big game again. I'm thinking 70 is my call for Daly. Some people think about bringing him in. That's completely okay. Just remember how many halves we have in our side. We already have a fair few halves in our side currently. So who else we got? Lockie Croker. He is getting close to a sell if you're looking to, but you can keep him if you like, with Cade Cuss doing pretty well off the bench there. Josh Alloway doing well, but not really an option. Schuster, you can definitely play in your side this week. One more on the Warriors side. Wade Eagan, I think he's definitely a hold. Some people were thinking about trading him out. He's scoring pretty well in the 40s to 50s, so keep him until he peaks, and then you can move on from that one. But there you go, guys. That's that game there. Our Panthers and the Raiders teams, very much similar on the Penrith side, and fair enough. Why would you change anything? They've been doing really well, and I suppose same thing we've been speaking about Lenu and his owners, is that he's not going to be losing you money. His price rises might slow down unless he gets back into the high 30s to 40, but he's someone that I said not going to be losing your money, and you can keep him there in case there's an injury to one of the middle forwards and he happens to get more minutes during a game, and it can come out and dominate and get a 40 to 50, or there's an injury in a game and that following game he gets some extra minutes or he gets a starting job or something like that. So think about that with Spencer. With Capewell, a little bit different for him. I think he's going to be the type of player that's going to be up and down in his scoring. So I believe with him, it's going to be against the worst teams. I don't think he's going to go as well because he needs a few more of the the defensive stats than and seems to really step up in his attack in those games as well, and is very likely to score a good try against one of those teams. And that comes up against the Raiders this week, and I would expect him to be scoring pretty well. These are the types of games where Billy Kikau isn't as dominant. He kind of tends to run over a lot of the easier sides, which is great for them, and means a few of the other guys can have a bit of a rest when he gets all the traffic. So, I expect a good game from Capewell this week. I think he's going to be the up and down type of scorer. On our Raiders side, Sebastian Chris keeps his spot on the other side with Curtis Scott still injured with his ribs. Whiten, I think, is getting closer to a sell right now with so many good halves in there. I think you probably don't exactly need him. He hasn't got the upside of a really high level keeper like a Moses or a Cleary or DCE or that, and he just isn't performing as well with Georgie Williams taking over the majority of the work there in general play. So for him, I think he's probably almost a sell. Jared Croker, people are asking about him. I think you've got to wait till he actually starts playing well and gets back from his injury to pick him up. Jordan Rapana doing really well. I think he's a really cool keeper option, especially in the centres, but can also cover the wing fullback as well. So who else we got? Mommy on the Panthers side, doing really well. I'm not sure if he's a keeper, but I'm expecting a lower score this week, so 34. I'm calling out with Brian To'o being one of their clear wing fullback guns. So being a 50-point average scorer. So if you want those guys, please do, and we'll move on. Titans are nice, guys, and before you do that, just please jump into the Discord group. There's a link in the description there. We're building the people's team really well, and there's some really good insights from a bunch of good coaches in the top sort of couple hundred in the ranks at the moment. So that would be really helpful for anyone who's interested in that. But please hit that link. Titans and Knights. Brimson, he's getting closer to a sell, but I think about the sunk-off fallacy, or with him, he's lost all that money for you already, so you're feeling bad about it. You're like, I've got to get rid of him. But think about what he's going to produce for you from now onwards. Against a Knight side that isn't performing as well, he might be able to go well, but I just feel like you'd hate to get rid of him and then he just absolutely kills it, and then everyone starts bringing him in because he's bottomed out in price. Like someone like myself is going to be looking at these types of players now that they've dropped in price. So keep that in mind. Jamal Fogarty seems like he's named and looks more likely that it was a cork and not a strain, but we'll have to check it out. What's going to happen there? Ash Taylor's in the 21 jersey, so if Fogs isn't ready and Taylor is, then they could straight swap him, and I might leave him on my interchange at this stage. We'll see how I go with Fogs. Tino, really good week last week. Don't expect the same amount. I wouldn't be trading him back in if you've got rid of him previously, but hopefully he does well for those that have him. Fafita's being gone. Peachy's named in the 13 jersey again. If this team stays as it is, I'd expect a better score for Peachy in the 40s to 50. So trying to stress about him. On our Knight side, a few different changes, and our man, the sexy Caitlin Pong, is back in the fullback jersey. Straight swap for Tex Hoy. Connor Watson moves into the 6 jersey with Kurt Mann injured, with his really bad head knock, which is fair enough. And Connor's played 6 for a lot of the first game, and then a part of that fourth game just on the weekend, and he seems to be scoring well there. He obviously can still make his tackles, but then is out against the edge players and the edge players and can get some good tackle busts and some attacking stats there. So happy with that for Watson. It doesn't really matter as long as he's somewhere closer to the middle so he can get tackle and get some good stats as well. The interesting one here is Randall is on the interchange. Will he take any of Brayley's minutes? You wouldn't think so, just with how good Brayley's been playing, but it's something to think about. My thoughts around it is Brayley would move into the middle when Suasa Su comes off. Like or when he's off the field, for example, he can just play in the middle and defend like a Cam McInnes or someone like that did, and Randall can come on and relieve Brayley at dummy half for a little bit, just so he can play that full game still. Someone like Josh King's an interesting option. We better talk about him while he's here because I'll have plenty of questions about him. At 318k, he's already obviously gained a fair bit, But let's have a look at his first 4 games. He got 15 minutes, 24 minutes, 21, and then played 36 minutes, which was obviously more minutes than he's been playing normally, and obviously scored a try and did really well and had kind of the perfect game. So I'd expect more scores closer to the 20 mark than what he did with a 57. And when he's not at 228 or 240, 250k, I think he's a risk to bring in at this stage for Joshy King. Who else we got there? Brady Jones. No, I want to talk about him. Richie Barnett did okay. Frizz had a little bit of a low game, but don't worry about him. Clem has been named, but coming off that bad knee, they were worried that there might have been a really bad knee injury, but looks like he'll be okay. But that's enough with that one. Dogs and Storm. Nick Kotrick, if you bought him in, I feel sorry for you. Unfortunately, he's been moved to the wing now, in number 2 jersey. Avery Lowe comes back for all of us guys that got rid of him. It turned, from what I read down here, actually he said he had an ankle injury. Did anyone else know that? What did he say? That Jake Avery Lowe comes back from an ankle injury at 5'8". So strange, I didn't know that. Interesting one here is Mr. Luke Thompson and Josh Jackson come back. We don't see Ogden in the starting side. We see him on the bench, and we see Torpenny. I have to say, someone corrected me with Torpenny for Jackson there. He should be able to get some decent minutes. Maybe, like, you look at where these minutes are going to come from. There's 4 forwards on the bench there, and they've got more forwards in the reserves. Is he going to get those minutes? You got Elliott, who's going to play 80. Waddell, who can probably play 80. Jackson, who's getting pretty much close to 80 minutes. Thompson, you expect maybe 40 to 50 in his first game back, and you got Hetherington, he's hitting in that 50-odd minutes. So are there enough minutes for Torpenny, for example, and especially when, like, Renouf Atoni played pretty well too. You got Torpenny on 271 at this stage, and he's got a nice negative break even after his 60 minutes. So the good thing you can see with him is he, 46 tackles, 2 turnovers, 57 meters gained, and a kick defuse. He literally had the perfect game possible. So if he gets 30 minutes, what are you going to expect from him? Like, is he going to get a 20? Is he going to get a 25? Is he going to get a 30? I think he needs to get at least 35 minutes for him to be worth it, and he'll make 150k or something like that. If you need an edge cover, then you could possibly bring him in just in case. But for me, I just don't see where the minutes come on that team list. So what do you guys think about this one? Like, is Katoa going to play 80 minutes? Like, is Torpenny going to come in and cover for some minutes for Katoa? Who else is going to do it? Or is Waddell going to play less minutes, for example? Like, there's so many questions here, and it's going to be annoying to, if you pick him up and he picks up 20 minutes and he gets 15 points every week, and you get a couple of quick rises and then nothing. So that's what I'd be worried about with that one there. On the Storm side, not too much to think about there. Who else we got? Tui on the bench, Nelson in the 13, so it probably won't matter too much. Welch, if you got him, awesome. Bigger one is Harry Grant's in the 21 jersey, so there's a chance that he comes in and plays. And with them being sort of in the middle of the round, it's probably a little bit annoying if you're a Brandon Smith owner. I think you just got to hold for one more round, hope that he plays, and Harry Grant's just on there, and he'll come back in next week and you can trade him out. But that's probably the only one on the Storm side, and we'll slide on down to the Roosters and the Sharks. So on the Roosters side of things, nothing much changes there at all. So complete straight 1 to 17. On the Sharks side, Teague Wilton is there for 1 more week only, guys. Don't bring him in. Only 1 more week with Britton Nicora's there. So don't be doing that. Who else we got? Jesse Ramian comes back, which is good for him, obviously. Townsend should have a bunch more weeks. Some people are thinking about bringing in Matty Moylan. I don't think it's worth bringing him in now when you've only got a few more weeks of him in the 6 role. Will he go back to 1? I don't think he deserves to go back to the 1 spot. I think William Kennedy's played really well. Does anyone else think the same? So where does he go? So if you're thinking about bringing him in, I don't think so. Connor Tracy's in the 14 jersey, right? People are like, yeah, bring Tracy in. Woo, got a great score. No, don't do it. You got Dugan and Rabian as your top 2 centers. So Tracy's going to stink it up on the bench as a utility. That's all. Yeah, cool. All right, Tigers and Cowboys. Dane Laurie, please don't trade him out. Some people are thinking about it. Don't do it. There's a chance that he's a gun. They're playing the Cowboys. He's going to go nuts. A lot of these guys should. Roberts should go well. You'd expect Dewey, Brooks to score well. Jacob Little maybe even get a try. Lucy Leilua, I can imagine just going absolutely nuts on that left edge. Alex Twal, he'll just do what he needs to do. Stefano, can he get 3 in a row? So just think about these Tigers guys. They're probably going to have a field day against the Cowboys. 12 might only do okay, as it might be a fair few points, for example, but there's something to worry about after the fact. With the Cowboys, Taumalolo comes back. So again, with him scoring less at the moment, you can wait till his price bottoms out a bit, and then you can pick him up. The only annoying thing here is Jensen hasn't been named for anyone who has him, so he's in the 20 jersey with Cotter, Masters, and Clifford. So it's not a bad little back reserves for. They can all be starters in that Cowboys team at this stage. But there you go. That's that one there. All right, last game of the round, Eels and the Dragons. So nothing too much changes with the Eels, which makes complete sense apart from Madison coming back, and hopefully this week he plays for his health. We hope so. And on the Dragon side, Jack Bird comes back into the centres. Adam Clune still remains in that spot, which makes sense as Hunt is still out. On our interchange, Willie Army comes into the 17 role instead of Jackson Ford, who only played a few minutes anyway, so that won't change anything in the rotation. So there you go, guys. That's the update for the week. I hope these team lists were good to you, and some of my analysis helps you out with that. But other than that, we will see you in the next bunch of videos where I go through a certain amount of players in a little bit more detail, and maybe some options that will come up in terms of the questions I'm being asked, and we'll talk about a few of those things. But as I say, guys, hit like, subscribe if you're enjoying these, and we'll see you in the next one.